Since the very beginning of time, people have searched for the Garden of Eden, a place described in the book of Genesis as the original paradise where humanity walked in harmony with God. It was in this garden that Adam and Eve lived before the fall, a place of beauty, peace, and divine presence. But ever since sin entered the world, the location of this garden has remained one of the greatest mysteries in human history. For thousands of years, explorers, theologians, and archaeologists have tried to pinpoint where this garden once stood. Many have speculated, written books, and even traveled to distant lands hoping to find a trace of Eden. But now, something truly extraordinary has come to light, something that has left many scholars and believers in awe. But before we go any further, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the amazing biblical discovery stories like this. Let's continue. In Genesis chapter 2 verse 8, we read, "And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed." Notice something very important here. The garden was not merely a natural place that appeared on its own. It was planted by God himself. This tells us it was not just any location, it was chosen and designed by the Creator, a divine space, a holy beginning. But after Adam and Eve sinned by eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God drove them out. In Genesis chapter 3 verse 24 it says, "So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubim, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life." The garden was sealed, its entrance guarded, and from that point forward, Eden was lost to history. But now, thousands of years later, new discoveries in the region once known as Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, have stunned archaeologists and biblical scholars alike. In recent years, researchers have been studying a site deep in the south of Iraq, near the area traditionally known as the Cradle of Civilization. It is a place that sits near 4 rivers, the Tigris, Euphrates, Pishon, and Gihon, just as the Bible describes in Genesis chapter 2, verse 10 to 14. What they've uncovered is nothing short of fascinating. Ancient remnants of a lush, cultivated land, now buried beneath layers of earth, have begun to emerge through satellite imaging and ground exploration. The region, though mostly desert today, shows signs of once being fertile, watered by rivers that have long since changed course or dried up. In fact, through aerial scans and soil analysis, scientists have found that thousands of years ago, this region was teeming with plant life, flowing water, and even strange circular enclosures that appear to have had spiritual or ceremonial significance. Could this truly be the lost Garden of Eden? While no one can say with absolute certainty, many believe we may now be closer than ever before. What makes this discovery even more interesting is not just the soil, the water systems, or the ancient plant remains. It's what has recently emerged within the land itself. Locals who have lived in the area for generations speak of strange occurrences in recent years. Some tell of dreams and visions that led them to visit specific parts of the land. Others describe moments of overwhelming peace, as though they were standing on holy ground. And now, a number of researchers are reporting that ancient inscriptions, possibly predating even the oldest known writing systems, have been uncovered near these newly discovered garden-like remains. These inscriptions, while still being studied, contain references to a great creator, a divine wind, and a tree of life. One of the inscriptions, translated with great difficulty, speaks of a gate that was once closed by fire and a river that once gave life to all. Though it's not confirmed, the similarities to the biblical account are hard to ignore. Many biblical scholars have long believed that the Garden of Eden was more than just a physical place. It was also a spiritual space where heaven and earth touched, a temple-like garden where mankind walked with God in the cool of the day. Genesis chapter 3, verse 8. That's why some believe that even if we find the physical remains of Eden, the true beauty of the garden lies in what it represented: perfect fellowship with God. Interestingly, Revelation chapter 22, verse 1-2, describes a future scene that sounds almost identical to Eden. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life. What began in Genesis seems to be restored in Revelation. And perhaps, just perhaps, the rediscovery of Eden is a prophetic sign of what is soon to come. One question many people ask is, why would God allow the location of Eden to be revealed now? Why in our generation? Could it be a message? A reminder that time is drawing near? That the restoration of all things is at hand? In Luke chapter 21, verse 25-28, Jesus spoke of signs in the earth and heavens that would take place before his return. Perhaps the resurfacing of Eden is one of those signs, a whisper from eternity that God's plan is moving forward. It's as if God is inviting us to return, not to a physical garden, but to the spiritual fellowship we once had with him. The story doesn't end with the soil and the ruins. In recent months, there have been more reports, though not widely publicized, of unusual activity in this region. Unexplainable light patterns seen from above, strange sounds captured underground, even testimonies of miraculous healings from locals who simply stood and prayed on the ancient land. One researcher said, "It's as if the ground itself is alive again, like something long buried is awakening." Could this be the beginning of something new? A spiritual awakening? A reminder from God? It's hard to say for sure, but one thing is certain: this is not just an ordinary archaeological site. The evidence, the atmosphere, and the ancient words all point to something greater, something divine. The Garden of Eden was once a place where man walked with God. That intimate relationship was broken through sin. But through Jesus Christ we are invited back, not to a physical garden, but to spiritual fellowship. Romans chapter 5 verse 18 tells us, "Therefore, as by the offense of one judgment came upon all men to condemnation, even so by the righteousness of one the free gift came upon all men unto justification of life." The true Eden is not just about a place. It's about relationship, redemption, restoration. And today, even as archaeologists dig through the dust of history, God is still reaching out to you, inviting you back into his presence, into his peace, into the beauty of what was lost and what can be found again. Whether or not this discovery in Iraq turns out to be the true location of Eden, it has stirred the hearts of many. It reminds us that the Bible is not just a book of stories, it is a book of truth, history, and prophecy. And the pieces of that prophecy are falling into place. As something begins to emerge from the soil, we are reminded of what God is doing beneath the surface of our world and even within our own hearts. Let this be a sign to seek him, to walk with him again, and to look forward to the day when the river of life flows once more and the tree of life stands in the midst of God's kingdom. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring, faith-building content. God bless you, and may his presence walk with you, just as he once walked with man in the garden.